my name is Queen, and I'm the director of UK's Dazzling Beauty. And so I've decided to organise this event called Determined to Succeed, which is a women's conference, a women's seminar. And I specifically wanted it to be for women because of the fact that I really do believe that women are just about to come into a time, or people in general, about to come into a time of really going through stress. I really think that stress and feeling discouraged and just overwhelmed with Christmas coming up, like the whole organising of food and people coming around, this is going to be quite stressful for women. Does anyone agree with me, or do you think that might be true?
Yeah.
And so, I'm going to start with just asking some questions from you, everybody here, about this word being determined. So, determined to succeed. So what does this mean to you? Like, what kind of words do you think about when you think about the word determined to succeed?
Ambition.
Okay, ambition.
Perseverance.
Perseverance, okay. I feel like a weather woman. What other words do you think about when you think about the word like determination or determined to succeed?
Driven.
Driven.
Courage.
Courage. That's good.
Self-belief.
Self-belief.
Okay, I'm on a roll.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Passion, like passion for what you're doing.
Passion. That's a good one. Okay.
Enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm. Brilliant. Any other words? Okay, let me tell you something. I went to a seminar, and this seminar was all about coaching. So it was a coaching seminar, and believe me, they do not stop. So you'll think, oh, I've said a lot now. No. More. And so I'm going to keep asking them for more. More and more and more. So what else do you think? Not giving up. Not giving up.
Faith in yourself.
Faith in yourself.
Happiness.
Happiness. That's good.
Support from like family, friends, inspiration, and people.
Okay, so support and inspiration.
Yeah. Role models.
Role models.
Yeah.
Focus. Okay. That's a lot. Okay, so what I want you to do now, because it was the first activity, like I said, about getting up and moving around, so I want you to just team up with somebody. I think we are in, yeah, I want you to be in a group of 2 or to be in a group of 3. And what I want is just for you to go through some of these words and choose 3 of them in your group. There's lots of pens and paper over in the corner, like little notebooks. And so basically, I would love for you to just choose 3 words that you really believe in as collectively. So you could choose, for example, perseverance, passion, courage. And make sure it's with someone that you don't know. So just try and move around and mix up. And just go through some keywords that would come under that, or some experiences in your life, something that would link with the word. So, for example, ambition, it could be a job. So ambition to achieve a job or career. It could be something that you've experienced. So it could be promotion at work, promotion that you received at work. Ambition could mean to you that moving forwards, or it could mean being around the right people. So whatever comes to your mind under that word. And then role models, it could be people that you know. So it could be you're inspired by Brian Tracy, so you write the word Brian Tracy. Or it could be that you're inspired by Madonna for some reason, so you've got Madonna. So all the role models that you think of, passion, you could think about the word fire, because fire is quite, passion and fire can be quite related. Or if it's support, you could think about networking events or seminars. It could be a conference or anything that would link under the word. So I think I've given you enough to get on with it. Those things when you went to school. Okay, so basically, confidence, arrogance, or shyness. There's actually 3 parts to this, actually. Okay, so what do you think about these 3 words? This is actually the middle one, really and truly, but just for now, can we just improvise, yeah? Okay, so this will be the good word in a way, should we say. This is can be seen as the bad word, and this can be seen as sort of good / bad, so it's a bit in between, but this can also be seen as good / bad as well. Okay, so where do you see yourself in these 2? Like, if you had to fit yourself into arrogant or shy, where do you think you fit? Or which one do you think is better, to be shy or arrogant? I know obviously we'd love confidence because that's in the middle, but which do you think is worse or better out of the 2?
I think arrogance.
Arrogance is better or worse?
Because
at least
if you're arrogant, you're confident.
Okay.
Well, you're just overconfident.
Okay.
I think it'd be harder to hold it back rather than it is to get out there. So although the word arrogance is like, oh, you're arrogant, like who do you think you are? At least they need to hold it back rather than someone who's completely shy, and it'd be harder to
At least you believe in yourself if you're arrogant.
Yeah.
Shy people, if you're shy, you don't necessarily have that belief that you can put yourself out there like that.
Okay, but then
you probably have better quality as a person if you're a shy person.
Yeah.
And you're more humble, whereas if you're arrogant, you can be rude. And it's all about me. So
I think I display shyness, but I have a hidden arrogance. So although me you see is quite quiet, quite calm, even when I'm teaching 11 to 18-year-olds, inside there is an arrogant monster, but it comes through as a calm, shy, in control person, but a very confident person.
Yes. That sounds really, really good.
Yeah, I think it's different levels as well. It depends. Sometimes I think you need to be a little bit arrogant to get maybe across a point that needs to be put forward. So you may be not 100% arrogant all the time, but sometimes you need to sort of get into that way of being. Maybe because the people you're dealing with are arrogant, they can't hear you in a different level. Therefore, you almost have to be on their level of understanding, so you become arrogant.
You see, the beauty industry, for example, the pageant that we're in, to be honest, I think it would go more towards the shyness in terms of the qualities we're looking for would be more humble and elegant and so on and so forth. But then there is that side. We're not really looking for someone arrogant because that would just be, in a way, completely off-putting for the judges to see someone that thinks they know it all. But then sometimes there's still that thing that makes them want to see somebody that has that arrogance, they want to see somebody that's just, bam, I want it and I believe in myself. So, like you said, it's that kind of bit of both in a way, and knowing where to project these characteristics. So knowing when to be arrogant, when to put your foot down and say no, or when to say I have to go even if I don't feel like going, and when to be like, I need to be nice, I'm a woman, I need to be feminine, so it's just time for me to just back off a bit. Think about a race, for example. If you're running, I remember this is a classic example. I was in a competition, and this was ages ago, like years ago, and I remember running, and I didn't run and beat someone just because I felt she should win. Like, I just felt she should win. Because I was scared of her, to be honest. I was afraid of her because she was meant to be the popular girl and so on and so forth. So she saw me overtaking her and she quickly ran and made sure I could have beat her. I know I could have beat her. I let her beat me. Just actually, she came, I think it was 4th and 5th. Whereas with another competition I was in, I had someone running with me, one of my friends came onto the track, and I got the gold medal of the 1,500 meters. So I won't let no one beat me. It was like, because I had her coming along as well, just ran onto the track and was like, come on, Chioma, you can do it! And she just ran with me. I was like, nobody's winning. Nobody. I'm winning. And so sometimes you have to put your foot down and say, no one is going to win. It's my turn. It's my time. It's my food. I don't care if there's 3 chickens left. If there ain't no one, like, there's only 4 of us, there's 4 of us, I'm going for the chicken. If someone misses it, I'm not going to miss it. Or if I need to have 2 today, I'm sorry. But then there's a time to be like, no, I need to let her go in front of me. But it doesn't mean that they should win and beat you, but it could just be, I need to back off a bit, maybe be a bit more kind and realise that I always get the chicken, so let me just let my sister get the chicken, or let me let my brother have the chicken for a change, or let them use my phone, even though I know that I've just topped up and I really don't want anyone to use my phone. So we have to think about times of when we need to display these characters, and there will never really be a place of just being confident. We'll always kind of be going back and forth into these different characteristics and knowing the right time to do that. So really think about it. If there is a time in your life or a place in your life where you need to project that. But that's just for now. So we're going to go into another activity later. So I was thinking that we could have our first speaker on. And I was thinking that because somebody wrote it first, that person might want to be first. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So my name's Tonte Douglas. That's my name. What I'm about is self-development. I'm an expert in self-development. Developing myself, and I want to work with people that people that want to be entrepreneurs, or people that want to do things on their own. No one is going to spoon us. No one's going to spoon us success. We obviously have to take our own steps to be independent people, be our own people, and then actually go out and do things on our own. Time is, self-development always takes time. It's always important that, nothing is done overnight. All the development that you do, you never become the best at something in a day. Normally they say that if you want to be an expert at something, it's going to take, something like a couple years of really honing your craft and really researching it. It's all about time. That's why it's important to actually start now and actually, always do things naturally. I always say do things naturally. Do things naturally in your own time. I always say never force things to happen, because when you force things to happen, much like the analogy of the door I just gave, the universe just won't allow you to succeed. The universe always allows you to succeed when you do things in your own time, when you do things naturally, when you do things when you're ready. Because you might have a lot of people, like I've talked about entrepreneurs that have, their ideas. A lot of entrepreneurs started businesses, their businesses were right, but themselves, they weren't right. So that's why they failed in their business, or that's why their business grew, but they weren't even ready for that kind of success, because they never had seen any kind of success like that before. They did things unnaturally, and then now all of a sudden they ended up the business, I don't know, the business some business failed, or it didn't grow like they wanted it to grow, and because they just simply weren't ready for that opportunity. So once you're personally ready, then whatever you do, you'll be ready to succeed, and you'll be ready to achieve that kind of success. That's why I always say that, if people, they always say, oh, I'm not succeeding in this, or I'm not winning now, or I'm not getting to where I want to be. It always takes time. Once you do all of this, then you realize that, the more and more you do it for yourself. You don't do it for approval, or you don't do it for, validation. You do it because I know what I'm good at. I know this is what I'm good at. I've actually taken an action to actually show the world what I'm good at. I love myself to know that this is what I should be doing. I'm actually independently doing it on my own, so nobody can tell me I shouldn't be doing it, because this is what I want to do. And then, and it always takes time. And then in the long run, you always think long term, because the short term is short term. Always think, okay, in a year from now, I'm going to be here. A year from now, you will be there. If you say, 2 weeks have passed, I've not gotten the success I want, it's all about time. You have to realize that. In the long run, once you do everything, once you do things that you want to do, you do things to your own passion, you pursue what you're good at, you take the time to develop yourself in your passion and actually learn what you need to learn and do what you need to do to become the best at what you want to do. Then you finally reach this the last thing, which is yes, which means yes, I've got to where I want to be. I've done everything, and now I've succeeded. That's what yes is. I couldn't find another word for it, so I clicked yes. But you get the point, though. I think it works out really well because, like, once you do everything here, then yes, you get to the point where this is I've actually achieved what I want to achieve. People actually know me for doing all of this. They know me because I'm pursuing a passion, and people will see your passion, and your success will come. So when you add everything up, you get reality. So once you enjoy life by doing all of these. You develop yourself by doing all of these, and then success comes once you've done everything else. So I just overview what I've just kind of said. So reflection. Think back to where you were, and then it helps you to go where you want to be. Always look back so you can go forward. Evaluate yourself. Always look at where your strengths and weaknesses are, and then once you know where your strengths are, then improve your strengths. Once you know if I'm weak at something, I'm gonna do everything to hide those weaknesses. But I'm gonna improve on my strengths, so that gets me where I want to be. If I'm weak at something, get someone who is strong at that to do it for me, and that way, action. Whatever I'm good at, actually take action to improve it. Love yourself, independence. Once always be your own person. Do things on your own. Take your own path. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Worry about what you're doing. Normally what you're doing is better than what other people are doing anyway, because they're not doing what they like. They're not doing what they're passionate about. So in the long run, you get to where you want to be, and then you can congratulate and pop champagne and buy what you want to buy the car you want to buy. You'll end up meeting other people who follow these same kind of steps. Once you follow what you're good at and what your passion is, you'll meet other people who are passionate about what they're good at because you did it on your own, and so did they. And eventually you get to where you want to be. So I think that's about it. Hopefully you got everything that I'm saying. Self-development is very key. I mean, whatever you want to do, it's always important to develop yourself in your own time on a natural level. Never try to force things, and patience is key. Once you love yourself, then the world is your oyster. So I think that's about it. I think I'm going to leave it there. Talked for long enough. Hopefully you got what I'm saying. So also, ultimately, that's my movement, enjoying reality. I think it looks pretty nice myself. It's got nice words. It's got big words, and it all ties together. All these points tie together, and so hopefully you got it. This is the first time that I've actually unveiled this to people. The actual layout of the words. So you're the first people to hear it in the world. So if anyone else uses this, then this was my invention. So, I think this is a big thing. And I'm going to tell as many people as I can, and hopefully you take the words that I said to do your own personal development, and then you'll get to where you want to be as well. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I was Tonte. Thank you for listening.
Really good because there are a lot of these, in a way, equations or systems, and it's amazing that you invented it. And like you said, it's actually going to help you to achieve growth. Especially what stood out for me was independence, because that is the truth, that when you're trying to achieve your dreams, eventually, normally in school, you start off with friends and family. Mm. So you go to school with your cousin, you go to school with your best friend, you're all walking together, so it's like everybody feels so good about going to school. And then eventually you get to a point where maybe you go to college and then your friends are going that way, and you're going that way, or they all follow you and go your way. My friends all followed me, they all came to the same college as me, and I was like, I'm not on my own. So I had my friends with me, but then eventually when I got to about university level, that's when I really was on my own. It was no more about following friends. And I made a decision in college to stop following friends anyway. So I ended up working harder, and I was like the one that got my A levels and I just about got them, to be honest. And it's really quite strange because I was so capable, but because I wasn't given any direction in terms of, have a dream, go for it. What do you want to achieve? I didn't really have any of that, the same motivation that we get today. It wasn't there in college. So it was amazing to think that independence led to me being where I am today, especially with my master's degree and having my BA Honours degree, it was the actual independence that led to that, because I had to do it on my own. I didn't have all my friends following me around to say you can do it. And so I definitely believe that independence is so key. If you really want to be successful, you need to do what other people are not willing to do. So you might have come here today and thought, well, I could have slept an hour or two extra, but this could be the one thing you hear here today could be what could, thrust you into your destiny of what you're meant to achieve, and it could just be that one little thing.
So, hi everyone, my name is Rosemary Chileshe. I'm from Zambia. I wanted to talk about, I do various different things, and for that reason, my presentation, I labeled it, You Were Born to Prosper and Be Fruitful and Multiply. I'll explain why. Why is that? So you were born to prosper, be fruitful, and multiply. Now, for those we all can. Okay, so yeah, you want to prosper, be fruitful, and multiply. I chose this as a theme for my presentation because I believe it represents who I am as a person. I'm quite a spiritual person to begin with, so a lot of you would recognize that be fruitful and multiply is something that's really written about anyway. It's actually from the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 28. And I believe it so heavily. I believe in the statement because ever since I was young, I truly believed I was born for a reason. And that's a belief I've carried forward in all everything that I've done. So because of this, as I grew up, I had the desire to run my own business. And I kept saying, well, I want to be this, I want to be that. I had this vision in my head that one day I'll be walking in a big building with glass and windows are glass anyway, but with my briefcase, almost like the Devil Wears Prada, but nicer. And I kind of just walk through, and people be like, "Good morning, Miss Chileshe," because I've arrived. I'm the CEO. This is my business, etc. But I had to be realistic. I had to say, okay, I have this dream, fantastic, but I need to work for someone else and actually gain that experience. So I had it in the back of my head. It was something that was in me, and I didn't just dismiss it. Then I thought, what can I do? What can I do? I believe I can be this person, I can do this and that, but what can I do to get there? So I started on my goals. Goals are quite important to me because I believe that if you don't know what you stand for or what you want to do, you can't navigate yourself. So you need to almost have like a blueprint of your life. For me personally, I call the Bible as my blueprint because everything that's sort of written in it is how I mirror my life. I like to know that I'm here for a reason, for a purpose, and therefore what I'm doing and how I present myself, it's in line with that. And many people that do meet me, from when they speak to me, sometimes I don't have to tell them what my beliefs are. They can just pick up on it. I don't know, maybe a radiator, I'm not sure. Recently had strange encounters where people just rubbing my cheek because they said I had some aura about me, or they like the face, and I thought it's a bit weird. But there you go. Things happen. So I came up with Swanilenga Group. So I'll put this in a circle because it's a tagline. And then Swanilenga is actually, I'm from Zambia, as I said. Swanilenga is a combination of two of my other Zambian names. Rosemary Chileshe, as a name, for a number of years was connected to being a property surveyor, because that's who I am professionally. I'm a property surveyor I trained, I studied, that's my trade. And the reason why I became a property surveyor was, again, recognizing that I was born to prosper and I could be fruitful and multiply. So I looked at what surveying could do for me, and I thought, well, it's a male-dominated industry. I thought, I'm a female, so why can't I be in that sector? At the time when I was beginning to study it, there was about 10% of women in the industry. I think even now it's probably about 15% at the most. Because people think it's maybe hard, or it's engineering, it's construction, a female can't do it. And I thought, well, just to prove a point to the masses that I can do it, I'm going to challenge myself and embark on the path of being a surveyor. So that's how I got into it. It was very challenging. I had moments where I would cry about it. I was determined. I just thought, you know what, I'll quit right now. Then I thought, no, I'm not going to just stop. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to start comparing myself to other people, which is what you should never do. I'd encourage all of you never to compare yourself to someone else, because I recognize at that point that every single one of us, we have something very unique about ourselves. Even twins, they could look the same from a distance or even up close, but there's always something that's slightly different. So we're all unique. We were all born to prosper. So I did my surveying degree. In line with today's conference, I was determined to succeed. So I sat through it and I just did it. And then Swan Learning Group was born, because from being a surveyor, I also did beauty pageantry. So I became Miss Zambia in the UK, and with working with goals, many people would tell me, oh, you're so tall, you can be a model, oh, you're this and that, you could do this. And I kept thinking, that's fantastic, it's a compliment which I welcome. However, I needed to make sure that me, myself, it makes sense to me what people are telling me. So it didn't matter to me if someone would just see me and say, could be a model. I needed to know it myself and to believe in it myself, and also to have it as a goal. So I said, well, maybe I can be, but not quite yet, because my goal at that time was to be a surveyor. So I did that, and towards the end of my studying for my surveying degree course, I embarked on doing Miss Zambia. And again, even when I started doing my beauty pageantry, I didn't just go into it. People tried to sell it to me for the glamour side of it, or you can wear tiaras, you can be wearing and wear nice, fantastic clothes. But I wanted to something deeper than that. Like, what does it mean for me to be a beauty queen? And Miss Zambia UK was linked to raising HIV/AIDS awareness. At that time, I heard what HIV/AIDS was about, but I never knew in depth. And I thought, actually, it's something we don't talk a lot about within the youth or the younger generation in the UK. And in Africa, it's something which is maybe deemed as being taboo. You can't really talk much about it. Then I thought, I'll do Miss Zambia purely because I want to stand on that podium and learn more about HIV/AIDS and campaign for it. And that's how I started. So I had a goal linked to doing the beauty pageant. And even as I was doing it, I was so, in my mind, I was determined to have that crown in my head. But at the same time, I was like, whatever happens, my key driving force is raising awareness, because winning the title or being part of the competition would give me a podium, a stage. And that's what I did. I did win the title. Even when I won it, I didn't just sit back and let everything come to me. I was very proactive in speaking to my pageant directors. I would go to them and say, look, I won this title on this day. Nothing has happened for about a week or so. Like, yes, it's going to be a week or so, just chill. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I want to do something about this. I want to move forward. I put forward ideas of what I wanted to do. So I became a key driver in pushing forward my title. Of course, I respected my national directors because it's their pageant. Therefore, I'm just representative of it. And it's very important that I follow their protocol as well, because as well as being me, just Rosemary, I'm also wearing a sash with the name on it belonging to someone else's brand. So I needed to make sure that I'm actually portraying it positively. So it was communication. So I did that, did Miss Zambia. Oh, Juanita.
That's why we're
Juanita? I wasn't going to interrupt. I was going to go through the
Sorry, darling. I'm sorry. Yeah, so then I did Miss Zambia UK, and then it took me to Miss World, and I also represented Miss World and Miss Universe, and again, I wanted to, at that point, I was just very excited. Miss World took me to China. It was a whole month. Miss Universe took me to Mexico. It was a whole month. My excitement was, oh my goodness, I've never been to these countries before. I've never met all these other people, these other countries. So for a moment, I forgot I was there to compete. It became more like, who can I network with? Who can I be friends with? What can I learn? So I took a different mindset. Rather than being competitive and come up with schemes that people use in pageantry of, backstabbing, whatever, I thought, that's not me. I'm going to use it positively. And that's what I did. So I did my titles, I finished. And then I moved on. That opened so many doors for me. I started being asked to host at the pageants. I had different girls email me, asking me for tips on how they can be what I've done. And I always stress to them that you can never be what I've become, because I'm unique. Nobody can walk my journey apart from me. Just like I can't walk your journey, only you can do. But I had to remind them, you were all born to prosper. So you need to take ownership of that title. You need to be fruitful and multiply. And my being fruitful and multiplying comes from having fun in the group. So there I was, as a surveyor on the one hand, as a beauty queen on the other hand, as an advisor for aspiring beauty queens. And then I started doing modeling. People started booking me for modeling jobs because of my height. But luckily, it wasn't just about the height for me. I could actually walk. So I had, people saying to me, you're a beauty queen. You can't be a model. I'm like, who says I can't be a model? Oh, no, but you can't be, beauty queens can never be models. I'm like, okay, says who? Oh, look at Naomi Campbell. She can never be a beauty queen. Well, that is Naomi Campbell. She's opted to be the type of model that she is, and she's opted to adopt that character or attributes, if you like. Whereas for me, I thought, only I know what I'm fully capable of being and doing. So if I know that a beauty queen is meant to walk this way or act in this way, and if I know a model is meant to walk in a certain way, then surely it's up to me to train myself to change from not even to change to, if I want to be a beauty queen, I can be, and if I want to be a model, I can be. And that's what I did. So every time someone said to me, oh, you can't be a model or a beauty queen, I said, look into view me as a case study. Look into the shows that I've done as a beauty queen. Watch the tapes if you like, or watch me on the fashion show. So when you've seen, I'm like, then you decide. So you tell me if I cannot walk.
It's so inspiring. I really like the fact that, like you said, these really, really positive words, prosper, fruitful, and multiply. So we're born for this. So it's something that is actually, is the word innate? Is that the word? Yeah. So it's actually in us as an instinct. This is just a part of our being to prosper, be fruitful, and multiply. So it's not something that we will find hard, because this is what we're born to do. And so this means that, like she said, we should actually think about how we see ourselves and what we believe we can do, and where do we want to get to, and then obviously, like you mentioned, Rosemary, that we should have practical steps on how we can get there. So no matter how big our dream is, we need to start somewhere and then start working our way up.
Okay, so I am Juanita Ingram. Very happy to be here today. I was telling them earlier, I was determined to be here. Not only determined to succeed, but determined to be here. And I'm really thrilled that I was asked to come and talk today. I've won a couple of pageant titles. I'll give a very brief background as to who I am. As you can hear, I'm not originally from here, so please get over it. I know the first 5 minutes of when I speak, people lose what I'm saying because they didn't expect that to come out of me. So yes, I am from America. Yes, I'm from the southern states of America. Yes, I sound like a scene out of Steel Magnolias. Yes, but here we are. And so I've been living here for about 2 years. I'm a lawyer. As I said earlier, I'm married. I have 2 kids. I'm an author, entrepreneur, a lot of different things. And when we talk about wearing the different hats, I love it. I think that it's so true that we limit ourselves a lot of times to one particular slate in life. And really, we have different games in life. I call it the game of life. So we play different games in life. And I have my mommy game. I have my lawyer game. I have my pageant game. I have my business game. I have my author game. And we play different games in life. And so, it's a flow that we have. We flow in and out of those different titles and in and out of those different functions, especially as women, because we're so multifaceted. So today I wanted to talk about increasing confidence and how that intertwines with interview skills. Because at some point in time, we will all interview with someone, whether it's for your first job or whether you're interviewing a potential client and you have your own company and you want to obtain work or you want to obtain a particular client. Everybody's going to interview in front of someone. So I didn't want to make this specifically pageant focused, because we all know in pageantry that we interview all the time. We have the interview, the on-stage interview. And so I really started looking at, through coaching and doing a few pageants, I've had a couple of titles now. So I've been currently Mrs. Universe UK. Last year I was Ms. World International. And the year before that I was Mrs. World UK. So I've done a couple of interviews. I'm working as a lawyer. Go ahead. Yes, just need help setting up PowerPoint. Okay. And so I've interviewed a lot. I used to work for Rolls-Royce. I worked for the largest retail REITs. I know a lot about property. So I'm a real estate lawyer. So, I've worn a lot of hats, and I've sat in a lot of interviews. I've observed a lot of people. I've judged a lot of pageants. And I've observed a lot of body language. So today we're going to talk about confidence, how to boost your confidence, and how to have successful interviews for whatever phase in life that you want to go through. So we'll do that. Let's see. There we go. So what is confidence? We all know what confidence is, but sometimes we think, well, I have to feel confident. If I don't feel confident, then I'm not confident. But confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is the motivation and the driving force that gets you beyond your feelings. Because if anybody stands before you and says, I never get nervous, I'm always super confident, I have high levels of self-esteem at all times, they are lying to you. Okay? That's not the case. Because in every area of life is in ebbs and flows. Some days we feel great, some days we don't. Some days, we feel lighter than others, and some days as women, we feel bloated and I don't really want to be in front of someone. But confidence comes from someplace else that helps you push past your emotions. So for me, I'm a woman of faith. I'm a Christian. My confidence comes from my faith in Christ. For everyone else, for other Christians, for other people of other walks of faith, you can draw confidence from practical steps that you take, boosting your confidence and knowing who you are and having a good identity and self-worth. So why is it important to have confidence when we interview? Because statistically, we know that people make their first impression of you in the first 30 seconds that they meet you. So in the first 30 seconds, you all surmise something about me. That's why I said get over that accent, because I knew that it would be a hindrance or a roadblock. In the first 30 seconds, someone looks at you and they make an assessment of you. Consciously or subconsciously, it happens. So we want to talk about first confidence booster. So I'm going to give you 5. And I'm going to go through this really quickly for the sake of time because we're going to get out of this room on time. So, but the first one, we talk about communication skills. And those communication we do in 2 different ways, verbal and nonverbal communication skill, body language, hi, hello, come on in, don't worry. So verbal communication, how we speak to one another, how we speak and present ourselves. And so naturally we want to be articulate, we want to speak clearly. And then with nonverbal, which is even more important than what you say, is how you say it. So the nonverbal communication, and 9 times out of 10, there are days when we feel a little bit down. You might not feel as sure of yourself as you do the day before. Check your body language. When I don't feel as confident ordinarily, I can catch myself. I'm slumped over. I'm usually behind. I'll slump over this way. I don't really want to look up at people. And believe it or not, even as I stand up here giving a seminar on confidence, I don't always feel self-assured at all times doing everything. When I was on the stage, when I won Miss World International, I stood on the side of the stage. There were all these other beautiful women, usually her height, and I'm not. And so I'm usually the shortest person there. I sat on the side of the stage right before I was going to go out, and I wanted to throw up. And I asked myself, what on earth have I gotten myself into? Why did I do this? Why did I try to jump into different hats? I should have stayed in my lawyer game and not try to get into the pageant zone game. Why am I here? Because we have these internal floods of thoughts and feelings. We have nerves, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But the first thing that I learned to do always, you rotate your thumbs this way. It automatically makes your chest and your shoulders go back. It works. But I had to present myself in a way that confidence helped me to push past how I felt in the moment. Now, for me, I said to myself, okay, Jesus is on the stage with me. I know that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm more than a conqueror. And those were the things that I said to myself to get over the fact that I paid a lot of money to be there and I couldn't run away. No matter how much I wanted to run away at that moment, I couldn't. And we all have those feelings, no matter what it is. If it's before an exam. When I was in law school, I had horrible test anxiety. When I started law school, it came out of nowhere. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from. I remember my first, in America, we do semesters. So in law school, we have one entire semester for about 4 months. You get one exam. There are no midterms. There are no papers to turn in. It's just one test. That's it.
And I remember in one course, I sat in the back of the classroom, and it wasn't because I hadn't applied myself or I, didn't know the course material. I was terrified. And I sat there crying, literally in the back of the class. I was crying. I had that much test anxiety. I had to stop and tell myself at some point, look, either you're going to push past how you feel right now and take a step forward and go for this, or you're going to fail out of law school because your test anxiety is keeping you from performing. So sometimes we have to make a decision, but it all starts with communication, how we communicate to others, and then also more important is how we communicate to ourselves. And we talked about that a little bit earlier, and I heard everyone speak on that, sort of the internal dialogue that you have with yourself. So the second confidence booster that you can do, and what I developed sort of so that I wouldn't feel like running off stage or that I wouldn't sit in the back of the classroom and cry, was to develop good habits. And sometimes, we have to take responsibility. If we don't feel confident or assured, have we done everything that we possibly could do to make sure that our preparation meets opportunity? And that's what usually equals to success.
If we could see something, like a picture or something, it could just do wonders. So I encourage everybody to go home and create your own vision board. And like she said, you can create different vision boards for different of the hats that you have. So it could be all the different dreams you have. So you might want to get really nice and fit. So maybe you've never had the flat stomach you've ever wanted. So you could decide. I'm talking about myself, by the way. I've always wanted the flattest stomach ever, and I've never got there. But I mean, even though it's not so bad, but still, it's like I know I could get it to a really good level, like my dream ideal way, the way that you envision in your mind. So that vision board, having the pictures that you really want to see, because the more you can see it, the more you're going to work towards it. You don't even know how it will just come. It will just manifest. It will just. You'll wonder, where did it come from?
My name's Louise. I'm the winner of UK's Dazzling Beauty 2012/2013, and I'm also a personal trainer, or should I say a fitness professional. So I wanted to kick off my speech with what motivates me and what motivates you as a person. When you wake up in the morning, or it might be even noon if it's been a heavy night, what makes you get out of bed in the morning? What motivates you? And for me, there was a couple of things. After I won the title of UK's Dazzling Beauty, it was the most amazing experience, and I do genuinely believe that it changed my life. And a couple of things happened. It was winning that pageant and something negative that happened. So it's a positive thing of winning that pageant, and then a couple of months later, my grandma passed away, and that really kind of brought home to me is, what am I doing? My day-to-day job is I'm sitting in the call centre from 9 to 5, and I'm really not enjoying my life. And as soon as it gets to 5 o'clock, I'm in the gym. I'm doing my kettlebell class. I'm going to dance class. I'm really enjoying keeping fit. And really, why am I in this 9 to 5 job at the moment? I should be going out there, and I should become a personal trainer. It's what I've been wanting to do for ages. So I set myself the goals. I got in touch with a company that could make me a personal trainer in 2 months. Studied really hard, and I've become a personal trainer now. I've got my own clients, and I'm really enjoying it. So I just wanted to exaggerate and make more on the points of goals. And this is something that probably the most important thing that I learned on my course that I wanted to share with you, because I have to do it with my clients as well. So when we think about goals, we've got to be SMART. Another acronym that Tonte did earlier. So the first one, S, stands for specific. So when you think of your goal, okay, for example, I want to get fit. How am I going to get fit? I want to be able to do a pull-up. For that, me at the moment, I really want to be able to do a pull-up, because men can do pull-ups really easily, and it really bugs me that I don't have that power, that explosive power to be able to do just one pull-up. But that's how I'm going to make it specific. I'm not just going to get fit. I'm going to show I'm fit by being able to do a pull-up. And the next thing is M, so measurable. How are you going to measurable? How are you going to prove that you've obtained that pull-up? I'm going to get on the assisted pull-up machine. I'm going to keep practicing, and I'm going to show that I only need 4 pounds or 4 kilos away from being assisted to doing that goal. So that's measurable. And the next one is attainable. So you've got to make sure that it's something that you can achieve. Attainable. So something you know you can achieve it. It's not impossible. I'm not the Hulk, but I think I can do this pull-up. And the next one is realistic. So like I said before, men find it a lot easier to do pull-ups, but I think it is a realistic goal. I think in the next few weeks, I'm really getting close to it. I'm writing down every day how I've got closer to that goal, and I know that it's happening and it's becoming real. It's realistic. And the final one is time-bound. So I'm not just going to say, I'm going to be able to do a pull-up. You have to give yourself a deadline, and then it's really so feel amazing when you tick that off your to-do list. I've done that in a month's time. You've set yourself that deadline, and you've done it. So I've gone over what motivates you, and sometimes your goals do motivate you, sometimes it's other people. So I just want to have this open discussion really quickly. What motivates you?
Definitely fitness. I think even if I don't feel, the truth is I need to feel good. So if I'm not exercising, then I know I'm not going to necessarily feel that good. If I keep not exercising for a good number of days, I'm not going to feel good. So exercise, because I just feel like I've pushed myself physically, then I start to feel like...
There's so many benefits as well. You don't have to be like, I'm going to do that 10k run. It could be a little bit that you do every day. I'm going to climb the stairs instead of getting the lift. You don't have to be Usain Bolt. You could just you can influence it into your own life. And I think every single human being out there can implement a bit of fitness in their life. They don't have to be an athletic, Olympic champion like Jessica Ennis. You can implement that into your own life, and you can enjoy it as well. There's no point being like, I'm going to just go on a treadmill and I'm just going to do the push-ups and I'm just going to just be enthusiastic about it. Go to some different classes, get some inspiration. I think someone you follow on Twitter, Queen, is Warren Ryan. He's really, really good, and he actually goes to Pure Gym in Bristol. I work at Pure Gym, and I was like, I'm so inspired by him because he's constantly he's got a blog, Need for Success. He's got a YouTube channel, and I just find him really, really inspiring from the fact that he's come from a really he's gone through tough times, and he's come out the other end of it as a personal trainer, as a nutritionist, and as a motivational speaker. I just find that really, really inspiring. But sometimes you don't just motivate yourself through what you want to do, it's other people that kind of feed into that as well. I wanted to go through with you some fitness rumours. Okay, so Tonte, do you work out? If you were to work out, men, they generally don't do cardio, and women think, I don't want to lift that weight because I'm going to get really bulky. So I wanted to share with you some fitness myths, and I think it's really important, especially as us women, to actually implement some weight training into our fitness regime. And I was looking through this magazine today, and I actually came across some examples of some weightlifting exercises, and it looks probably a bit scary, and you're probably thinking of that strongest man competition, or those weightlifters you see at the Olympics. They don't even have to be that heavy. Just work with what you're able to do, and you can just achieve one move at a time. And it actually does really aid weight loss and lean muscle tone, and you don't have to look really bulky because we don't have the testosterone to achieve that. So there are a lot of fitness myths, and think, I want to avoid all fats. There's to knowing the difference between saturated fat and unsaturated fat, and how much protein I'm allowed per day. I want to avoid carbs completely, but carbs give you energy. So I just wanted to share those little snippets of fitness myths, and you might think, I want to avoid carbs altogether. No carbs before marbs, as they say in Italy. But you need those complex carbs. You need the brown pasta, the brown rice. You can have cheat day as well. Yesterday for me was cheat day. I had a full English breakfast. I'm a personal trainer, but I am going to tell you, I had a full English breakfast, including some fatty bacon, some fried eggs, and then I had some sweets and some cakes, and then what did I have for dinner last night? It was spag bowl, and then I had some chocolate afterwards. That stopped me from eating crappy things for the rest of the week, because cheat day is amazing. So have your cheat day and reward yourself, because you shouldn't feel like you should deprive yourself from good things as well. I think cheat day really helps. So, gone over that. And I think exercise really helps you to promote yourself with a positive body image. So you shouldn't go to the gym and think, okay, I'm looking in the mirror and I feel really crappy. You don't even have to look at the mirror when you're exercising. It can just make you feel really, really good about yourself. And you can have fun with it. Go to a dance class. Go rock climbing. Do something that's out of your comfort zone. and it keeps you active, and it gives you a really good, positive body image. I think that's really, really important for us to feel successful in ourselves and feel really, really confident. And that's all I wanted to say, really. Just wanted to summarise by saying that success for me is a journey. It's not happening overnight. I've taken the steps and I've ticked things off my list. And I hope that I inspire you guys to do the same.